Hi, my name is Jill Ellis and I'm a SPR in Paediatrics who for the last 4 years have been working here at the Institute of Child Health part-time on a trial, vitamins and minerals for children with Down syndrome. Unfortunately, I know you're all going to be a bit disappointed, but we're still doing the analysis and we're not going to have any results until the middle of May. So I can't tell you what they are. But Pete has asked me today to talk briefly about what the trial involved and a bit about our progress so far. This trial was really quite unusual, actually, as it started really with questions from parents and not from researchers and doctors. Parents really wanted to know more about the claims made, mostly on the internet, often from America and other countries, that giving their children vitamin supplements had effects on their development and their health. They were ringing the charities, asking their doctors, and really there were no clear answers for them. This led to a review of all the available evidence being written by my predecessor, Dr. Cornelis Annie, which was funded with some money from the DSRF. And this showed that, in fact, there were very few number of trials, mostly carried out in the 80s, all of which were unable to show any benefit of vitamins. These trials were small, with relatively poor methodology. And so, following this, a decision was made to run a larger trial using young children with Down syndrome to try and answer this question once and for all. Right, that's it. How do I move it on? That's it, okay. So I really haven't got time today in detail to talk about the trial methodology, as I'm only going to talk for 4 or 5 minutes, but this is basically what happened. Paediatricians referred us interested patients. These were all parents and families of children with Down syndrome under 6 months of age. The other way that it came was that parents would contact us themselves because they were interested. There were adverts on the DSRF website. Also, the DSA sent out leaflets to all their families, and we had a lot of involvement with doctors and parents publicising the trial. The children were then assessed and were randomised to receive a combination of antioxidants and or folate or placebo. And then they were followed up for 18 months with growth and health questionnaire at 9 months, further growth and health at 18 months, and a development and formal development and a language assessment. So this is pretty much what happened, and the numbers that we did. We actually assessed 215 people to see whether or not they would be suitable for the trial. Of these, 59 were excluded. Now, most of these people actually excluded themselves because the parents, when we spoke to them, didn't want to take part in a trial. They felt they wanted to just give their child the vitamins and didn't want to risk the placebo, and there were about 30 of those. Other people who were excluded were people with severe cardiac disease, or if they spoke absolutely no English, because then we couldn't complete the outcome assessments. We ended up with 156 children who were randomised to receive into 4 groups. 41 got antioxidants and folate, 40 antioxidants, 36 folate only, 29 placebo. I have to say that only the pharmacy at Great Ormond Street knew what these children were receiving. None of the parents were able to find out until they finished the trial, and we're only just able to break the code and look at the results. And we followed these children for 18 months. LTFU is lost to follow up. It wouldn't fit in the box. So you can see here that we lost 16 children to follow up. Unfortunately, 3 of them died, 3 got leukemia, and quite a lot of children moved abroad, and unfortunately the budget wouldn't stretch for me to go to New Zealand and assess them. But we did follow, if anyone moved in England, we did follow them up, so quite a few of our children moved around the country, and we have been to see all of those. But the ones that went further afield than Europe, I wasn't allowed to go and see. So we actually have final data on 139 children. And what we're going to do is look closely at the health and development outcomes of these. So our main assessment results will be Griffith's developmental quotient. All the children had a Griffith's developmental assessment done at home by either me or one of the psychologists. A speech and language questionnaire, which is a modified form of the MacArthur, modified to British data, produced from Sure Start. And a Warwick Health questionnaire and some growth measurements, all of which were carried out at home. But this isn't the only thing we've got, because actually, interestingly, what we have is a really large cohort of children exactly the same age with Down syndrome. And as far as we're aware, there isn't a group in the UK as big. I know there's one study from the Netherlands which had 200 young children, but I think this is the biggest cohort of children actually of the same age. All children were between 3 and 7 months at enrolment. So with our trial data, we're looking at some other issues of the families to have an idea a bit more about what life with a young Down syndrome child is like in the UK. One of the things we've looked at is disability living allowance, who gets it and why. to the support and interventions available for families, which appear to vary dramatically depending on where you live. And also we're going to try and look at some normal for Down syndrome levels for gross motor milestones and some language development. We have a speech and language specialist involved in looking at the Griffiths language development and comparing that with the questionnaires. So I'm really sorry none of this is ready, but as you can see, I'm really busy trying to make sense of a huge database at the moment, having only just broken the code and beginning to look at the results. So the main thing for us really is that we're committed to telling our funders, who are the Down Syndrome Association, the Down Syndrome Research Foundation and Lejeune in Paris first, and then to tell the parents, rather than publishing the literature first. And our commitment to tell the parents is strong. We're going to have meetings in London on Sunday the 14th of May, the day's just been fixed, Birmingham Saturday the 20th of May, and the South Wales days is being organised. We have many fewer families down there, I think there's only 15. So. And all the results will be on our website around that time. I mean, there are just practical issues for us about getting it all ready and getting it up on the web. So anyone here will be able to access the results on the website, certainly by the end of May. And we're also planning to have a doctors' meeting. We set up something called the Down Syndrome Research Network of Doctors, which several people here I know have been to. And we'll have another meeting of that, I think probably in June, where we will have more details about all the results. So finally, I'd just really like to thank our funders, without which the research was just not possible, and particularly all the parents and the children involved in the trial who've been such a great help. Thank you, and I'm happy to ask any questions.